When the Spaniards came to the Philippines in the 16th century, they found that dance and music were woven into the daily life of the native Filipinos, who danced to celebrate courtship and marriage, birth and death, victory in war, and the planting and harvesting of rice. Given the importance of dance to the natives, the Spanish colonizers employed it for the rituals of the new religion. As in pre-colonial times, dances were performed as prayer, but now addressed to Christian saints on the major feast days of the liturgical calendar. Soon after, the Spaniards introduced into the country the secular dances of Europe as well. Gradually, through the centuries, the Filipinos assimilated these dances, evolving their own versions of these forms. One of the early dance forms introduced was the jota, a social dance which was a great favorite during the Spanish regime. Danced on special occasions like the buling-buling on the eve of Ash Wednesday, and the Panatang Sayaw performed on the feast day of St. Peter and St. Paul. The jota was also performed in social gatherings. One of its local versions is the Jota Moncadena of Moncada, Tarlac, which combines Spanish and Ilocano movements with the original jota's lively tempo and simple dance steps. Its initial movements are lively and fast, and accented by the rhythm of elongated bamboo castanets. Its most common step is the waltz, a step, close, step pattern done in 3 measures. The dance incorporates stamps, brushes and touches, and their combinations, and variations like the waltz turns and accented waltz steps. The jota's middle part is slow and typically native in mood and execution. In this segment, the figure called patay, characterized by slides and very slow steps, are executed. The dance reverts to the fast tempo at the end. The jota is usually accompanied by a rondalla, a band of stringed instruments including the bandurria, laúd, octavina, guitarra, and bajo. Another version of the jota is the Manileña in honor of the old city of Manila. The Manileña uses the jaleo, the touching of elbow to elbow, the zapateados, and stamp typical of many Spanish dances. Other adaptations and interpretations of the jota exist in the different provinces. The jota gumaqueña from Quezon, The Hota Paragua from Palawan Island, Paragua being its former name, Hota Kabagan, and Hota Echequenia, both dances from Isabela, and Hota Laloqueña from Cagayan Province, La Jota de Cavite, which also uses castanets. Originally from southern Germany, the Balse or waltz, a dance in slow 3/4 rhythm, became popular in social gatherings of the 19th century in Europe and later in the Philippines. The waltz is the base of almost all Philippine dances, like the Balitaw, a courtship dance. Especially popular in the Tagalog and Visayan regions, the Balitaw is performed by a male and female doing slow steps around each other. Improvisations like the waltz turns, waltz balance, and cross waltz are used in this dance. Another courtship dance which uses balse steps is the Cariñosa, and its many versions which use coquettish hide-and-seek movements with the fan and handkerchief. Other folk dances that adopted the waltz and its variations are Bailuhan from Malabon, Rizal, Alcamfor from Leyte, La Estudiantina from Atimonan, Quezon, and Mascota and Osonet from Cagayan, all of which are performed for any social or religious occasion. Besides the Jota and Balse, another favorite of the early Filipinos was the Fandango or Pandango, a dance in fast 3/4 rhythm. In Rizal Province, the Pandango is danced at weddings. Before each guest hands over his gala or wedding gift to the bride, the newly married couple dance briefly to symbolize the start of their new life together. Another extraordinary wedding dance is the Pandang Pandang of Antique. It is said that in the past, A gecko got into the pants of a bridegroom. He started moving in a frenzy, hopping and jumping, hitting his thighs and buttocks in time with the music in his attempt to drive away the lizard. Not knowing what had happened, the spectators cheered him on, and the dance was institutionalized. From Tamiling Tarlac is Pandango sa Sambalilo, which uses a hat. Here, the male dancer aims to pick up his hat from the floor with his head, while other dancers improvise their movements around him. Perhaps the most demanding of the pandangos is the Pandango sa Ilaw from Mindoro. The male dancer does the waltz steps, cross waltz, waltz turns, and sway balance steps, while the female dancer gracefully and deftly balances a lighted tinghoy or oil lamps, one on her head and one on the back of each hand. This dance was originally executed to the clapping of hands. Later, a lively melody in triple measure was composed by Antonino Buenaventura as requested by Francisca Reyes Aquino, who first documented this dance. Named after Havana, Cuba, originated is the habanera, another dance introduced during the Spanish colonial period. Habanera de Soltera from Pangasinan, so called because this is the last dance of an engaged couple in their single state, is performed during the 5th of 7 ceremonies before the wedding. This dance features the double cross habanera step done in 2 measures with 2 cross steps before the habanera step. Also used are slides, knee bends, hops, and the Pangasinan kumintang called kewet, or the turning of the loosely closed fist outward from the wrist with the thumb sticking out. The colorful and gay Habanera Botoleña from Botolan, Zambales was originally performed to honor a departing parish priest, but later became a social dance. In the 19th century, another European dance form, this time from Poland, was introduced to the Philippines, the mazurka, a ballroom dance. Filipinos readily included this in their repertoire of folk dances, resulting in many versions. In Bohol, the mazurka boholano, a popular traditional dance, was originally performed by couples informally gathered. The dance had no definite sequence of steps and figures, and was combined with step, brush, step, the salok, the sangig, and the redoba. The lively but intricate dance movements of the mazurka from Cuyo, Palawan integrates folk and ballroom dance steps. Considered the premier dance of Mindoro's elite, Mazurka Mindoreña is a festival dance popularized by hero Don Antonio Luna, believed to be one of the best dancers of his time. The polka, another major dance form that hit the country, was originally a ballroom dance performed during fiestas or grand social affairs. During feast days of the Santo Niño, Pangasinenses danced their version of the polka called Maliket a Polka, Maliket meaning happy. The basic step-close step pattern is executed in two measures. The heel and toe polka, hop polka, gallop, chasing steps, and hop step are also used in this dance. The dance is known as Polka Sanayon in Batangas and Polka Sala in Mindoro. The Visayans call it Polka Antigo or Polka Italiana. Quadrille dances were also popular during the Spanish regime. Considered the most popular and ceremonial of these is the Rigodon, which was and still is usually danced by the elite. In the square formation, the cabeceras or head pairs are the more important individuals, while the costados or side pairs are the less distinguished. Many versions of this dance exist, but all feature the saludo or anuncio, followed by the seta, the casamiento or sebaneco, the visita, the cadenilla, the cambio pareja, and the cadena. In all the figures, the cabeceras move first, followed by the costados. Another quadrille dance is the Lanceros from Lingayen, Pangasinan. In Quezon Province, it is called Lanceros de Tayabas. Negros Occidental, it is called Lanceros de Negros. A dance form that sprang from a pastime of the elite is the paseo or promenade, for which the ladies outdressed each other to see and be seen. Paseo de Iloilo, revealing its far-off origin in Andalus in Spain, features a lady strolling around and meeting four gentlemen. In the 1850s, another ballroom dance as popular as the valse, polka, and mazurka was introduced in the Philippines. The eschotis or chotis is one of the oldest European dances. It follows the step, close, step, hop, step. The Philippines has many versions of the eschotis. Among these, the two versions of Capiz and Aklan, and the Chotis de Negros and Chotis de Ingreña. An unusual costume in Panitan and Tapas Capiz makes use of eschotis to test the durability and strength of a house under construction. Well-wishers do their version of the eschotis, hopping in a fast tempo. Besides evolving local versions of European dances or integrating these into their own, early Filipinos also created new dances by combining the steps of different dances. From Atimonan, Quezon, this polka ball, from polka and valse, is a lively dance which includes steps like the luksong uwak, ensayo, punta y patay, contradanza, From Gumaca, Quezon comes the Hotabal, which puts together steps from the Hota and the Balse. In Angono, Rizal, the bate is danced as part of the traditional salubong, the meeting of the risen Christ and his mother on Easter Sunday. During the Christmas season in Albay and the Camarines provinces, the Pastores, or Dance of the Shepherds, is performed by groups garbed as shepherds who brandish flower arches and swirl voluminous colored skirts. Papier-mâché horses ride high over their heads. They go from house to house, singing villancicos in Spanish or in Bicol. The dances are mostly in fast duple meter and feature many delightful turns and movements. In Obando, Bulacan, the devotees who are praying for a spouse or a child dance for the Virgin of Salambao, for Santa Clara, and for San Pascual Bailon. As in most religious rituals, the Obando dance is in the 3/4 rhythm of the balse. Other traditional dances which are still performed by the folk are the Subli of Bawan, Batangas, the Curacha of Eastern Visayas, the Pantomina of Bicol, and the Tinikling. But Philippine folk dances are no longer confined to their original rural settings because research has discovered and introduced them to the rest of the country and the world. Encouraged by UP President Jorge Bocobo, Francisca Reyes Aquino, with composer Antonino Buenaventura, embarked on a nationwide documentation of traditional folk songs and dances in the 1930s. Aquino later published her research in a 6-volume work entitled Philippine Folk Dances. Soon, other scholars followed. Libertad Fajardo did work on Visayan dances, Juan Miel on Samar dances, Petronila Suarez on Iloilo dances, Jovita Sison on Pangasinan dances, Teresita Ines on Ilocano dances, Jose Balsena and Chris Barrera on Capiz dances, and Ligaya Amilbangsa on the Pangalay of Sulu. Important researches have also been done by Lucrecia Reyes Urtula of the Bayanihan Philippine Dance Company, Paz Cielo Belmonte of the Barangay Folk Dance Troupe, and Ramon Obusan of the Ramon Obusan Folkloric Dance Group. With the publication of dance researches, many groups were established and the folk dances were popularized on stage both here and abroad. In 1937, Aquino formed the Filipiniana Dance Troupe. Belmonte meanwhile founded the Barangay Folk Dance Troupe of the Philippine Normal College in 1946. Bayanihan, based at the Philippine Women's University, was formed in 1957 by Helena Benitez, Leticia de Guzman, and Lucrecia Reyes Urtula. Former Bayanihan dancer researcher Ramon Obusan formed his group in 1972. Other notable groups were those in the University of the Philippines, Far Eastern University, University of Santo Tomas, University of the East, and Mindanao State University in Marawi City. Folk dance was not only popularized by performing groups, but by folk dance teachers who banded together to effectively teach the subject in schools. In 1949, they formed the Philippine Folk Dance Group. Through this and other similar groups, and because of the inclusion of folk dance in secondary and tertiary education, Philippine folk dances have become familiar to most Filipinos. Complementing these efforts and in pursuit of its thrust to create a national culture, the Cultural Center of the Philippines has institutionalized annual folk dance workshops for folk dance teachers and supported performances by different dance groups in CCP venues and all over the country. It has also bestowed honors on outstanding folk dance researchers, companies, and artists, and now subsidizes 2 folk dance companies. Considering the popularity of folk dances today and seeing their ability to express the identity of the Filipino, many contemporary choreographers have gone back to folk dance for inspiration. Folk dance movements have been used by Leonor Orosa Goquinco, Totoy de Oteiza, Anita Kane, Julie Borromeo, Tita Radaich, Alice Reyes, Tony Fabella, Cora Inigo, Basilio, Hener Carinal, and Lydia Gaston. Like most other art forms introduced by Spain, the dances of European origin such as the jota, balse, pandango, habanera, mazurka, polka, rigodon, paseo, and chotis were first patronized by the local elite before it trickled down to the rural folk. In the hands of the latter, these dances were reinterpreted and recast according to the native psychology and physique, transformed and transmuted according to the conditions of climate, economy, occasion, and chance. After centuries of assimilating them, these dances have become indigenized expressions of the Filipino. As such, they are a veritable trove of inspiration, for anyone who is searching for the Filipino soul in dance.